Hi, I'm Rachel, welcome to my channel. This is another video in the series of wardrobe basics. I am looking at skirts this week. I've already covered the shell top and somebody's making a really loud noise next door. That's incredibly annoying, but I still have to film this because they won't stop, so I will continue. So I've covered the shell top and I've covered the shift dress, and it follows on to the original video, which is all about the capsule wardrobe. I've put together a playlist where all the videos will sit together so you can watch them all in one go once they've all come out. I've also got a whole other playlist of my pattern reviews, and there are other skirts and loads of other garments in there if you want to have a look too. But anyway, for today's purposes, I'm looking at 10 skirt patterns. Let's begin. So let's kick off with a real classic from the assembly line. It is actually a pencil skirt. It's a great basic. It's a PDF or paper pattern, sizes extra small to 3 times extra large. It's a fitted midi silhouette. It has a centre back zip. It has 4 darts at the front and 4 darts at the back. It's got a centre front seam and a centre back seam with a split, or you can actually have a vent as well. It's unlined, but there is a pattern, so you can create a lining pattern for it if you so wish. It's an incredibly simple skirt, a lovely silhouette, very versatile. Could be evening, could be day. You could make it in denim and top stitch it. You could make it in velvet and it could be an evening skirt. But our purposes as a capsule wardrobe, I think it would be great in a stretch woven cotton drill, in a wool crepe, a twill fabric, endless variations to be a real staple for your wardrobe. So that was just to start us off. A similar silhouette, but in stretch. This is the Yoyo knit skirt from Stylark, and also paper and PDF sizes 4 to 30. You can buy it as a single size pattern or a multi-size pattern. It's a really simple pull-on pencil skirt. It's got an elasticated waist. It's mid-calf length, but obviously you could make it shorter, you could make it longer, and it's designed for knit fabrics, so it could be a really great colour vehicle. You could have a black one, a navy one, or a grey one. It could be in a more interesting stretch fabric like a velour, or just in a basic pontoroma, but a very useful shape, and again a brilliant shape for a capsule wardrobe, for something that you might wear all the time. Okay, so move on to, I was looking for a wrap skirt, and I wanted a slightly sort of A-line silhouette wrap skirt. So unfortunately the photograph here, it's got sort of a border print on it, which isn't ideal to show for a capsule wardrobe, but I really chose this for the shape, and it's the same workshop skirt, and it's basically, as I said, it's an A-line wrap skirt, and it's mid-calf length. It's got side and back darts, side front dart on one side, not the wrap side, back darts either side, and a centre back seam. It's got a bias tape finished waist, button and velcro fasteners, so I guess that's a button inside and maybe velcro fastener fastening on the top, and it's got stitched hems. So I think that's a fairly simple skirt. Again, in a lightweight cool wool. You could actually do it in a pinstripe. You could do it again in a crepe, but a simple A-line shape, but the wrap detail just gives it a bit of a twist. It's a bit more interesting, really. It's a PDF, UK sizes 6 to 22. Okay, let's move on to this one. I haven't heard of in the folds before. I don't think I've featured them before. And it's the Barclay skirt, and there are 2 variations within this one pattern, and you have 1 variation in the photo and 2 variations in the line drawings. So it's got 2 size sets. It's designed for somebody who's 5'7", so bear that in mind. when you're if you do use this pattern. They've got horizontal lines so you can lengthen or shorten it if you're taller or shorter. Waist goes from 61 centimetres to 161 centimetres, so massively inclusive in terms of sizing. So you've got sizes A to J or G to P. So you've got two variations here. So the line drawing on the left is the A version, and the waistline sits on the natural waist, and it's got a shaped waistband, and the pockets are constructed to within the seams, and you've got a faced hem, you've got a centre back concealed zip and panels at the back, and as I say, you've got a faced hem that goes all the way round. Just a really nice simple A-line silhouette, which I think would be nice in a crisp cotton sateen would be quite nice. The B version, which I believe is the one that the model is wearing, and it looks like she's wearing it in denim, so it doesn't have a waistband, and it sits just below the natural waist, and it's got a waist facing, and it's got optional patch pockets and side splits in the hem, so that's where it varies, and you can see it quite clearly on the line drawing. So a simple but quite sort of interesting A-line skirt there, from In the Folds, the Barclay skirt. Okay, moving on to, had to include a pleated skirt. I have to confess, I've never ever made a pleated skirt. I do have a sunray pleated skirt in my wardrobe. I think it's from All Saints, with an asymmetrical hem, which is lovely. This is an all-round pleat, and it's the Fibre Mood Fausta skirt, PDF or paper, sizes 4 to 30. So it's a midi pleated skirt, it's got a shaped waistband, a side concealed zip and a button closure. Fairly simple, but I think a really sort of incredibly elegant shape, and it could be quite a wardrobe staple, I think. Okay, and that's UK paper PDF, sizes 4 to 30. Okay, now the next one, I wanted to include a jean skirt, a classic jean skirt, because I think for a capsule wardrobe this might be really nice in a more formal fabric. I always love the contradiction of a casual style in a formal fabric, so maybe in a lightweight wool, still including the top stitching detail. I think it would be lovely, so you've got that sort of mix between formal and casual. So this is the Stylock Tommie jeans skirt, which is a PDF or paper, sizes 4 to 30. You can buy this as a single pattern or a multi-size pattern, interestingly. So it's got all the classic details. So it's a five pocket skirt. It's got the fly front, centre front opening. It's got a centre front split. It's got that yoke detail at the back. It's straight cut. It's actually got a shaped waistband, and it just sits on the waist. So the top of the waistband just sits on the waist, and it's a midi length, but obviously you could tweak that to suit yourself. But I just think that is such a classic style that you could take as is in denim, or you could make it in a more formal fabric. Okay, this next one is from Vogue, and it's the Vogue V2032, paper or PDF 8 to 16, 18 to 26. So I really love the style of this skirt. It's probably about a couple of inches too long. If it was a few inches shorter, I think it would make a really great sort of day maxi skirt, if that makes sense. It's lined, it's semi-fitted, it sits just below the waist, it's got a fly front and a zip, side pockets, it's got belt pockets, and it's got those belt carriers going around the waistband. It's got a lovely front slit, and it's got a pin tuck detail along the fronts and the backs. You can see on the line drawing, you can actually see the detail, and I think it is super elegant. It really is. It's kind of like takes a bit from sort of menswear tailoring, doesn't it? Like a classic menswear trouser, but it's a longish skirt. And as I say, I think I'd make it a few inches shorter, so it was maybe just above the ankle. I think it's super elegant. I like that a lot. This one, I thought I'd include a tier skirt. Now, I have included this in a previous pattern review. This is from the Pattern Room, and it's called the Tina skirt, and it's a 10 to 18 or size 20 to 28. So I guess that sits just around or below the waist, and you've got this lined yoke which is nicely fitted, and then you've got the gauging, the tier at the tier level from that yoke, and it's got a centre back zip, and it's really simple, and I just think really lovely, and a really, really versatile shape. You could play around with the length. You wouldn't necessarily have to make it quite so long. You could make it mid-calf. It's like super long on the model here, but I think that's a great shape. Okay, I wanted to include a full skirt, but not a circular skirt, because a circular skirt didn't really, I know they've sort of been on the catwalks, but didn't feel quite right. So I chose this skirt from the assembly line. Again, the elastic waist skirt, and I love the deep elastication at the waist that they have here. So it's described as a maxi length, although it looks like mid-calf on the model, but in reality, as we know, you can make it the length that suits you. Again, it's got an elasticated waistband, really, really deep, and then these large patch pockets at the front and a deep stitched hem. Really simple. Really, really like it. I think in something fairly crisp, a poplin, or maybe something slightly heavier for the winter. Sizes extra small to 3 times extra large. So a very elegant take on a fuller skirt silhouette there from the assembly line. And last but not least, I couldn't not include a bias cut skirt. So this is the Sati skirt from Vikisews. If you know their patterns, you know that they produce them in 4 heights. The sizes are Euro sizes 34 to 52. It's described as a close-fitting bias skirt with a slight trapeze shape, so it's slightly fuller around the hem. It has an elasticated waistband. It's got those darts at the back as well, and it has French seams and a pin hem. So I think it's described as kind of moderate ability. I mean, bias cutting is a little bit tricky, but I think if you're new to bias cutting, maybe a bias skirt, a simple bias skirt like this is the way to go. And if you're going to do that to start with as a beginner with bias cutting, I mean, bias skirts always seem to be featured in satin, but I think they're also great in more low-key day-wear fabrics. I like them in linen for the summer, in wool crepe for the winter. It's just a great, easy shape and just incredibly versatile. So those were the 10 skirt shapes that I pulled together as suggestions for a capsule wardrobe. You maybe have your own ideas. Please chip in below in the comments. I've already covered, apart from the main video about the capsule collection, I've covered shell tops and also shift dresses. So I've put together a dedicated playlist about capsule wardrobes, and you can eventually, once I've done all of all the different sections of the capsule wardrobe, they will all be there. This is the 3rd video apart from the main video about the capsule wardrobe that I've done, so you can go and see them all there. Alternatively, I do have a playlist with all of my pattern reviews on, and I've covered skirts as well. But if you are not familiar with my channel, sorry, I normally focus on a very particular garment in my pattern review, so it won't be just a skirt, it will be a pencil skirt. In fact, I actually have done a pencil skirt pattern review, so you can find that in my playlist, but I will link all my relevant skirt vlogs below in the description. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please like, share and subscribe, and I will be back again with another in the series.